said you're attending a responsible gaming conference here in Cape Town.
Yes.
What's happening in the responsible gaming realm here in South Africa? What is government doing to make sure that South Africans don't get addicted to gambling?
Yeah, look, it's a whole effort. There is a unique private public sector initiative in terms of which a foundation was formed, the South African Responsible Gambling Foundation. Both members of the private sector being the operators and government sit in it. It's chaired by an independent person, Dr. Vincent Mapai, and it looks at issues relating to responsible gambling. It's funded by the industry, and it deals really with 3 programs. One is treatment. Basically, first one is public advocacy, meaning warning people about the consequences of irresponsible gambling. You may have seen some of the ads that they run, print and media and digital, sorry. Then they do research, so that our responses are based on research in terms of what needs to happen. But then, of course, for that minority of people that do encounter the problem, there's a treatment program as well to then help them, counsel them to go through the problem that they are exposed to.
Now, who is this available to? Do I need to admit myself if I have a gambling addiction to?
Basically, family members can call and say X is actually developing a problem.
Okay.
Or you yourself can say so, but staff in casinos are trained, and other gaming firms are trained to say, look, we realize that you seem to be gambling irresponsibly, and therefore recommend that you contact the National Responsible Gambling Program. And it's a toll-free helpline, and people call it and receive assistance.
Okay, well, the National Responsible Gaming Program says that 4.5% of South Africans have a gambling problem. Is this a high number?
I'm not sure about the stats, where they come from. Obviously, at 4%, it will be a concerning number, and obviously it's something that needs to be redressed. I'm just not sure of the statistics. The statistics I heard was less than 1%.
Did they say? I know they say less than 1% are pathological gamblers,
yes,
and then 4.5 are problem gamblers. Are they able to get to that 4.5%? I mean, I know that you're not a representative of the National Responsible Gaming Program, but in what you've seen, you work in the industry.
Yes.
Are they able to access that 4.5%?
Oh yes, that is why they know how much people would develop a problem as they go along. And as I indicated, the pathological one are the ones that really have a serious it's a medical condition. They cannot control the gambling and therefore need specific interventions. Because it's a free service that is offered by the program, it's accessible to people. People do contact it, do go through the counseling. Obviously, it's got successes, but like in any program, there will be 1 or 2 people that would not be able to make through the program. Yes.
Right.
But of course, in those cases, that's when you introduce what is called an exclusion program, meaning that you then are not allowed to go into a gaming facility.
All right. Is it an in-person program, or do you receive treatment via various different ways?
Both. They start first by outpatient, and then some people get admitted to institutions.
Okay. Now, talk us through some of the symptoms a problem gambler might experience.
Yeah, I'm not so qualified to talk about that. Obviously, a representative of the National Responsible Gaming Program would have had to be able to come in and talk to you about that. But really, the behavior does become irrational. For example, the mood, the tantrums, people complaining, family members will call in and say, you don't spend time at home, you're always in the casino, or you actually gambling more than you can afford. But it's really about someone who spends more than what they should be spending on gambling. You do get those exceptions of people. A huge majority of people don't have the problem, but you do get a few of them that pick up the problem.
Now tell me about the revenue the gambling industry gives South Africa.
Okay. As of March 2014, and I'm now obviously I'll talk to the first generally in terms of gaming tax, that we know because the National Gambling Board will publish statistics. It was just above 2.2 billion, but that's just gaming tax. I would not have figures of corporate tax and VAT that is paid by other forms of gambling, but in the case of casinos, combined gaming tax, corporate tax, and VAT was 4.5 billion. That was of March 2014.
Wow.
Now, that's a lot of money one sector of the economy.
Now, just to confirm for me your status on this, you are not for nor against online gambling coming to South Africa, but it would be beneficial when we're talking about tax money. And
Obviously, at the moment, our biggest gripe is that as legal operators, we cannot operate it. We cannot even try to offer it because we lose our casino licenses. But at the same time, government is not taking stern action to stop it. So it is hurting us. And I know most people, when you talk about illegal online gambling, they think about someone only sitting in their private homes, using a tablet, or sitting in the office. But what we've seen is a growth of what is called, they just call them internet cafes or entertainment lounges. What's always telling about them is that they have dark windows. And we always ask yourself, but if it's an internet cafe, why should it have dark windows? And secondly, access is restricted. So you don't just walk in and say, I want to print my CV. So you'll answer a few questions before you come in. And that should always warn the public that something is not wrong. So we've seen a growth of those shops.
And online gambling is, as we're assuming that that's happening inside.
No, we know.
We know that that's happening inside.
We know that's what happens inside. And that's what is really hurting us from a revenue point of view. And of course, any money that we don't make, it means lesser jobs and lesser taxes for this economy.
Who is operating these illegal gambling outfits?
A lot of people. Obviously, it cannot be good ethical characters that are operating them because they know very well that it's illegal.
And you're saying that government isn't stepping in and shutting down these establishments? And
I think there are efforts to deal with it, but we're saying is they could do more. In fact, it is not fair for legal operators who have to jump through all sorts of things to do and to be able to offer the service and to then compete with these people that don't have to comply with any law.
What would you like to see government do when it comes to
They certainly need to take firmer action, have proper resources allocated to shutting them down, and in fact shutting them down because they shouldn't be existing.
Well, that's inside of South Africa. Are there people operating outside of South Africa who are facilitating online forums where South Africans can gamble?
We wouldn't know. All we know is that obviously people will provide a facility where you log in and you gamble in this site, which could be anywhere really, could be in Russia, and you just participate in that.